Hello lovely people, welcome back to Open Roads and Theatre Seats. Welcome back to the area where I sit and review shows. I haven't sat here and filmed in a while. I haven't actually uploaded too much recently. Basically it all got a bit too much, did life. That just sums up how I've been feeling since I last properly posted. My mental health has not been the best and it's been mega busy in general life, so I took the opportunity to just go studio silent for a bit and come back now kind of revived, kind of knackered, to bring forth the end of the year to celebrate Christmas in its entirety with Christmas light display tours and reviews about all things Christmassy and rounding up the year and telling you what I have been enjoying over the last year in theatre. And what better way of doing that but reviewing this bad boy that I recently saw at the Birmingham Rep, Nativity the Musical. Let's get into it. We have a lot to chat about. So most people have their favourite films. They also have their favourite Christmas films. Feel free to tell me in the comments what your favourite is. I have controversial feelings when it comes to certain Christmas films. There are a couple of really popular ones that I really don't enjoy. There are also ones that I didn't really see until a couple of years ago. Just going to put it out there, it was Polar Express, and because I feel like with that film, because I was not brought up with it, kind of didn't get its appeal. However, moving away from that bombshell, one of my favourite Christmas films is Nativity, and the Nativity franchise of films. There has been 4 and there's also a new one on Netflix which I haven't seen. It's not Nativity but it's by the same creative group, and yeah, I love Nativity with all my heart. I think because my background away from theatre reviewing and theatre chats is in education, I just appreciate it for what it is. It is a family friendly, happy show. Obviously doing the backstage and the sorting out of an actual Christmas show in a school is not the same. It's not as funny, for one, but there are just elements that you're just like, yes, this is great, and the kids involved in the films are phenomenal and hilarious and absolutely brilliant. So when in 2017 they announced that there was a musical version coming live to the stage in the Birmingham Repertory Theatre, I feel weird for calling it that, although that is its name, I jumped at the chance to go and see it. I went to saw it in 2017, had a great time, had a phenomenal time, took my mum I think, and have been in love with it ever since. If you are not aware, or if you don't know too much about Nativity the Musical, then let me just wrap it up in a little bow. So Nativity the Musical is the same story as Nativity the film #1, or the original Nativity OG. Okay, moving off that, and it has all of the songs from the end of the show or the end of the film. My brain is struggling here. It has all the songs from the end of the film, the ones that are all in Commentary of Cathedral, but there is also additional new songs written by Debbie Is It herself, the queen of all things Nativity, and also Nikki Agers, who are the people behind the film. So if you enjoy the music in the film, you enjoy the music in the musical because it is the same, and the new songs also written by the same people. Did that make sense? I feel like I had a brain moment in the middle of it. This, however, wasn't my second trip to seeing this show, because if you know me, or if you've been following anything that I do theatre-wise for many years, you will know that I used to have a different theatre channel, and on that I actually reviewed the show twice. the first world premiere run at the Birmingham Rep, but also I took a very long day trip all the way to Cardiff at the Wales Millennium Centre in 2019 to go and see the show again because I missed it in my hometown, and I was like, I'm not going to not go and see it. So I took myself on a long journey, booked a ticket with like 3-4 days to go, sat very close to the front and had an absolutely brilliant time. So you betcha, when they announced that in 2022, back when the world is kind of coming normal again, I was going to get myself a ticket and go and see this phenomenal show once more. The creative team this time round are rather similar to previous productions. I feel like there are a couple of new faces, but I can't 100% say that, so I'm not going to go into the full creative team. I have already mentioned Debbie and Nikki, who are the co-composers and people behind the whole show. But the other things, or the other people should I say, that are the same is the set design, which is being created again by David Woodhead, and the lighting, which has been done by Tim Mitchell, both of which just made it feel kind of comforting to me because I'm used to the stage, I'm used to the set, I'm used to knowing what happens to different parts of the set. I know who's going to come out of what box, I know what's going to happen at certain times. I think I still jumped at one point because there was a party popper that I was not ready for, but it just felt like home. It felt happy, it felt joyful, it felt like Christmas. It felt like I was sat with a hot chocolate and a blanket just chilling out. It was absolutely lovely, and it was a joy to see those things again. And then we move on to the cast. The cast, again, like every single time in the past, were brilliant. There were some new faces, there were some old faces, but let's talk about the young faces first. The children, oh my goodness, they were absolutely brilliant. Obviously, if you've seen the film, you know that there are 2 sets of children needed, one for the Oakmoor Prep children and one for the St Bernadette's children. They were all absolutely brilliant. You never 100% know who you've got on unless you really study the programme, because if you get to the programme, I'm just trying to find the page, you will see that they just give you all of the children who aren't all on at the same time. There's obviously teams that go into it, so one team will be such and such and such and such, and one team will be something else. I do have to say, Matilda Flower was the cutest little girl I've ever seen. She played the star in our performance, and she is going to be one. Literally any moment she was on the stage, everyone was like, oh. She was just the cutest and so brilliant, and the entire cast of children were absolutely amazing, so talented, so cute, and like local too. I'm pretty sure that most children involved in this show are West Midlands based, and it's just really cool to see those children on the stage doing their thing. I just love it. It's just really, really excited, and I love it. End of story. And then the adults, who to me are just the big kids in this show, because they just have to get into everything and anything, and it's just joyful to watch. Firstly, the OGs, let's get into those, because there are 2 members in the cast who I've seen, I think, in every production that I've seen. So 3 times round, 3 times I've seen these people, and they are Jamie Chapman, who plays, amongst others, hang on a second, I want to call him something that it isn't, Patrick Burns, who always just reminds me of Alan Carr, and I feel like that's the thing he's going for, but it's just, that's in the back of my mind. And also Gemma Churchill, who plays Mrs. Bevel, that's a sandwich maker, Mrs. Bevan. It was a joy to see both of those play their roles again. I could watch them 10, 20 times and still love their performances. Jamie is absolutely brilliant at every role that he takes on in the show. He is absolutely hilarious. My new favourite part for him in this time round was very early on in Act 1, where he's a dancing Christmas tree. Literally, I couldn't stop thinking about him as a dancing Christmas tree for my whole journey home, and I actually woke up this morning and I was like, oh, okay, Jamie's still in there dancing away with his little Christmas tree arms. It was absolutely hilarious to watch, and I loved seeing those two play their roles again. Moving on to the newbies, the new cast. Firstly, we have Paul Maddens, who's played by Billy Roberts, and also Mr. Poppy, who's played by Ben Lancaster. Paddens, as we like to call them, this year were absolutely brilliant. Their chemistry together was absolutely excellent. Their individual roles were brilliant to watch. They had the right levels of craziness and seriousness, respectively. I personally think that Mr. Poppy is one of the greatest roles out there. Everyone that I've seen play it, I fall in love with them because I just think it's absolutely great. And Ben was hilarious and a very talented roller skater, I have to say. He was absolutely brilliant, can be captivated from start to finish, and his character also worked really well alongside Billy's, who is the more serious Paul Maddens. And they just worked absolutely brilliantly together and were a joy to watch. It's the Shakespeare this year is being played by the one and only Matthew Rowlands. It was actually really cool to see him in this role, because everything I've seen him in recently, or previously should I say, he is one of the nice, sweet, kind, loveliest of people. Although Mr. Shakespeare is not a vile human being, he's just misunderstood. It was just lovely to see a completely different side to Matthew, and he did it absolutely brilliantly. I literally forgot until 2 minutes before one of his costume choices, and then it flew me back to when I last saw him in School of Rock. And then my brain suddenly went, oh, he's finally the teacher he wanted to be in School of Rock. Which, thank you brain, really needed that halfway through Act 2. But yeah, it was a joy to watch Matthew again, and he just does this role absolutely brilliantly. Rounding off the dream trio of Paul and Gordon and Jennifer, we have Jennifer, who was played by Daisy Steer, who was a delight to watch, and she was just absolutely lovely. I kind of saw like a Miss Honey vibe to her, Jennifer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I thought it was absolutely beautiful, and she is absolutely beautiful, and she did some very good pulling back the dress. That will make no sense to you if you've never seen the show, but that is a-okay because I'm not going to explain it. But she did a lot of, and it was very quick, and I was very proud of her. Moving on from what just came out of my mouth. Finishing off with the named teachers, we have Mr. Rye, who is played by Tom Hext, who literally for the first half I was like, I know your face. Why do I know your face? Took to my programme. Turns out he was a swing in the School of Rock tour. And I was just like, okay, that makes sense. He was absolutely hilarious. Very much enjoyed his jellyfish. Again, if you've not seen the show, will make no sense to you. But he was absolutely brilliant, and I am excited to see what comes for Tom next, because I've seen him twice this year. We're going to have to see him again next year. And then finally we have the unnamed teachers, parents, etc. / ensemble / on stage swings of Ralph Bogard, Sydney Izzet Iger, Cameron Johnson, Callum Train, Eliza Waters and Louis Wood, who are each individually amazing, but singularly each of them had their time to shine. Very much enjoyed seeing all of those dressed up as planets, especially Cameron Johnson. A man so tall, but he carried his planet well. And it was also lovely to see Callum again, who I still kind of miss seeing multiple times in half 6 months. I know I should let it go, but I can't. But it was lovely to see him performing again alongside Cameron Johnson, who I last saw in the Everybody's Talking About Jamie tour. And also a little shout out to Sydney, is it Iger, who I'm probably pronouncing her surnames incorrectly, but she is the child of Debbie, who is the creator of Nativity, who has been around from the beginning. And it was really cool to see her have like this full circle moment of being an adult in one of her mum's shows. But she was absolutely brilliant, and her hair is to die for. I am desperately in need of a colouring, and I was like, I just want to take your hair colour to the hairdressers and be like, do this to me. So props on that. Nothing to do with musical theatre, but I just wanted to mention it. So yeah, before we get into too much craziness, let's round off this video before it just goes a bit too mad. It's already got there. Should you go and see Nativity the Musical at the Birmingham Rep before it closes on the 7th of Jan? Of course you should. If you are anywhere near the West Midlands, please go and check out the show. The Birmingham Rep is away from the other 2 theatres in Birmingham, but it is the happiest and joyfulest of places in the world. The staff are always really friendly, the chairs are always very comfortable, and it just feels like home. It is one of those places that I should visit more. I should go and check out more of their shows, and that is probably going to be one of my resolutions for next year, because it's always a place that I forget to visit. But this show, Nativity the Musical, is a joy to watch. Everyone should go and check it out before the show closes. It is full of joy, it is full of wonder, it's full of seasonal happiness, it's full of sparkle, and it's full of shine. Do you get what I got there? So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this love fest on Nativity for a good nearly 20 minutes. I'm not even going to apologise because I'd do it all again. Also tell me your thoughts on the lighting in this video, because I've just got myself a new ring light. You might be able to see it in my eyes if you look close enough. And I'm still playing with it, so what do you think? But yes, that is it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back with more theatre content next Sunday, but I'm also going to throw in a couple of travel-y based videos throughout the week, just because I'm trying to clear the slate of everything that I've done travel wise over the last few months before we go into the new year, because I don't want to confuse myself with time, and it doesn't take a lot to confuse myself. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully see you in my next one. Don't forget, if you're new here, subscribe, do all that thing that people like to say at the end of a video. But yeah, thanks for watching, love you all lots, see you next time, bye. I sneaked in that second jazz hand.